really bad at this game. Is it a game? Everyone here knows that I'm from Australia, and everyone in Australia thinks that I've become a Kiwi because my accent is so mixed. Jackson's Māori and from the North Island of New Zealand, and people have asked him if he's Australian, so clearly we're rubbing off on each other too much. Yeah, so nobody asked, but here I am. That's another thing with Get to Know Me. If you want to get to know me, ask me a small question and I'll give you a novel because of the pandemic. Kia ora e te whānau and welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Georgie. I like to make videos about veganism, my life as a dog mum and a university student. If that sounds like something that you're interested in, please don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button and check out my previous videos on my channel. Before you click away from this video, I do have a Get to Know Me tag for you guys today. I googled some questions that are commonly answered in these videos and I thought I'd give you the answers. I was going to do a question box on my Instagram, but the amount of people who actively follow me didn't have any questions for me. I don't have enough followers to ask me questions. Let's move on from that topic.
Questions about myself that I'm asking myself.
The first question that I have today, where did you grow up? I was actually born in the Blue Mountains out of Sydney. I grew up in Australia in the Byron Shire. I went to school predominantly in Brunswick Heads just out of Byron Bay. Once I finished primary school, I moved to Sydney / the Blue Mountains to live with my mum. I went to high school in the Blue Mountains for 3 years. Question number 2 is, where do I currently live? After the 3rd year of high school, my mum and I decided to move over to New Zealand to live with my stepdad, who came to Christchurch to help with the rebuild. That was the longest sentence in the history of the world. I came here to finish my education in high school, and I was sure when I moved over here that it was just a holiday town. I didn't want to live here full time. I was like, as soon as I finish high school, I'm back in Sydney with my friends going to university. Christchurch as a city had the opportunity to become a more modernized, newer city. I really fell in love with the city. I loved the way it was developing and changing. It was so cool to see that development over time. Because of the earthquakes, a lot of buildings were damaged and needed rebuilding, and it's been so cool seeing the change happen here. Question number 3, are you / have you gone to college? I mean, my high school in Australia was called a college, but I'm assuming in this sense it's a university. I'm currently going to the University of Canterbury. I'm in my 3.5 year of uni, technically supposed to be my last. I mean, last year was supposed to be my last. But your girl went straight out of high school into uni, not really knowing what she wanted to do. She kind of messed around. She didn't focus on her uni work. She failed a few courses and now she's paying for it. Literally. In time and money and devastation. So I'm at uni for 1 more semester. I'm doing a Bachelor of Commerce, majoring in Human Resource Management and minoring in Psychology. I finished my minor in Psychology, which is really exciting. This is the degree I started with and I'm definitely going to finish it, but I don't know if this is the field that I want to be in. Coming out of high school, I knew that I wanted to run my own business one day, so I just knew that I needed to go to business school or do a business related course. So I decided to go to university, keep learning, even if it's not what I wanted in the end. I'd come out with more knowledge, not just on the topics that I studied. You get to grow a lot in the time, and I just think that it was a really great decision, even though it's not necessarily a course that I'm coming out like, I want to be a human resourcer. Y'all, question 4. What are my life goals? I would really like to buy my first house by the time I am 25. Ideally, for me, I would like to buy my house this time next year. Jackson and I have been saving for a house for the past 3 to 4 years now. So we just have a bit more money that we need to save, plus we need to have a full-time job for over a year for the banks to look at us to give us a loan. In New Zealand, we are so far, unless this gets taken away, we are pretty lucky that we have the first home buyers grant, so you can get a certain amount of money from the government if it's your first home that you're buying. They have a bigger grant if you're building your first home, and for me, I would like to get some land and I would like to build my first house before I'm 25. I think aim high, achieve a little bit lower. What's the saying? shoot for the moon and you'll land in the stars. So that's one of my biggest life goals. The second one is I would like to start my own business. Here's a little problem. I don't know what business I want to start. That's the issue. I'm kind of waiting for something to fall at my feet. Not really. I am looking for things, and at present I am working with my mum to help her develop her business, and I'm able to seek some creativity and growth in that role, which is really exciting. I've got a lot of freedom. I think it's going to bring a lot of really cool opportunities and help me discover more of what I want to do, and hopefully help me get to the point where I can then create my own business. Another life goal, I don't know if this is a life goal, marriage and kids. I would really like to have kids before I'm 30. Women have this body clock, and I know we can have kids after 30. Just for me and the plans that I have and Jackson has in our lives, that's when it kind of works best for us. And you know, we often feel we're not far from being ready to have kids, but hold on, Fano, don't get scared. Don't worry, there's no babies coming anytime soon, but it's just like we are aware that we want it to happen kind of in the next 5-6 years. Neither of us were sure if we wanted kids before being together, and that's kind of changed over the period of time that we've been dating, as well as marriage. Jackson was completely against it, and I didn't really know. I didn't really think I wanted to get married, but now I'm pretty sure. I love a good party, a good party moment. So that would be cool. Within the marriage goal, I would really, really like it to be like the Australia's Cheapest Weddings, if anyone's ever seen that show. I would like it to be a super, super cheap wedding, just making it more about the moment and celebrating love rather than celebrating millions of dollars, because that's not what I'm about, and that's not what Jackson's about. So why would we have this facade, you know? So I want to do a lot of thrifting and gathering things in time before that happens, if it ever happens, because if you can't tell, my ring finger's a bit bare. Another life goal, I mean YouTube. I love doing this. I'm very, very passionate about this. If this is just a side hobby for the rest of my life, that's completely fine with me. Whether it brings an income or not, that doesn't really bother me. I just think that people go through things. I've been through things and seeked help on YouTube before, so it'd be really cool if I could do that for people. Oh, and graduate from university, that's quite important, because I'm 6 months away from hopefully finishing, so it's a bit late for me to quit. Question number 5. Who are my favourite YouTubers? Amanda Ducks has been one of my most recent inspirations. I found her maybe a year ago, and I love every single second of her content. It is the way that she presents herself and the way that she talks, and her videos are just so calming, and I love her content, and it's so inspiring. I also really like Elsa's Wholesome Life. Theme here is that they're both vegan, but that's not why I like them. The content that they create and the lives that they lead and share is really, really cool. I quite like Sarah's Day and Carly and Erin. Oh my gosh, Chris Clemens and Andrew Lowe. I am obsessed with them. They're like, I'll drop anything to watch a Chris Clemens or Andrew Lowe video and an Amanda Ducks video any day of the week. But I also have influencers that I follow that are here in New Zealand. I really love Eden Vegan and Jenity, because they are so inspirational and they share their journeys, which I think is really special. Number 6, how many siblings do I have? I have an older sister who is 28. We're 7 years apart, and she has 3 children. Not that that's part of the question, but I'm just in love with my nieces and my nephew,
who I've never met because of the pandemic.
That's my big sister, Jade. She's also here on YouTube. I will link her channel down below. Definitely check her out. She's so artsy and fantastic, and one of my role models. I love her so much. Jasper, my stepbrother, it's semantics, and he's my brother. He is 23 this year, and I love him too so much. We don't talk to each other very much because he lives in Australia, and you know, my sister and I just talk more. I love you, Jasper. Sorry, you're probably not even watching this. My third sibling is my baby brother, Robert, who has featured on the channel a little bit, and he is turning 4 this year. So yeah, they're my siblings. I love them all equally and for different reasons. Number 7, what is my go-to fast food order? Now, being vegan, I mean, there is fast food options, but we don't have a whole lot of them. So I'm just gonna have to shout out Greater Goods again, because I feel like they are one of the only and the best option of vegan food here in Christchurch. I'm pretty sure you can even buy them online, so if you're not in Christchurch, definitely check them out. They're the best customer service I've ever had in my life. They do a frickin' burger, which is like this fried chicken with pickles and mayo, and it's the best burger, and I'm not having takeaway this month, and talking about it is giving me withdrawals. So I'm gonna move on from that. Number 8. Have you moved from home? Where to, and what was the experience? Jackson moved in to my mum and stepdad's house with me a year or so into our relationship. I wanted to kind of know how we went living together before moving out together, because people always say living together is the true test of a relationship, and it was just so important to me. I knew that we'd be fine. And we lived there for about a year, I think, and then we moved out into our own flat, just the two of us, around the corner basically from my parents, and now they've moved 20 minutes away. I miss my mom. When we moved out together, it was great. It actually went better than living with my parents, and it's really cool to have our own space and style it, and everything's been really good. We've been living here for 3 years now, I believe, and it's such a nice flat. We've got really nice tenants on either side of our little flat. It's 2-bedroom. You know, some people think it's pricey, but I think it's worth what we're paying for it, because we're both very happy here. Our plan is to live here as long as we're allowed to, until we can buy our own house, because moving is so challenging, but also because it just fits us so well, besides the fact that it doesn't have a backyard for Kaya. But she's basically a cat, so she's happy inside. We take her out twice a day. She's all good. Number 9, where would your dream travel destination be? COVID stopped us from going to Bali for my 21st birthday, and I know worse things have happened through the pandemic, but I wanted to mention that. We also wanted to go to Thailand, your typical university student destinations. I really would like to go to Mexico. Jackson really wants to go to Morocco and Africa, and, you know, Croatia sounds nice. There's been a few other places that he's mentioned that he'd like to go, but right now we're focusing on staying in the country through choice and through necessity. So I'd like to travel the North Island a bit more and spend a bit more time down south while my friend's still at university in Dunedin. Then when the borders open up, and maybe once we've both graduated, I would like to go over to Australia for a couple of months and travel around in a camper van. I've been to Queensland, and I've been to Sydney and Melbourne, and that's it. So I need to know the country a bit more. Not to mention the fact that I miss my siblings and my parents that are in Australia so much, and I need to see them as soon as possible.
Come on, Trans-Tasman exploration.
Favourite quote / quote that I live by. Fail to prepare, prepare to fail. Basically just meaning that if you don't prepare something, you're going to fail at it. You won't be successful if you don't have a goal, essentially. That sounds very harsh, but it just makes, it's a very logical one. The definition of insanity is, I don't know if this is the exact quote, throwing a ball at a wall the same way and expecting different results. Essentially meaning that if you keep doing the same thing and you want a new outcome, that is insane. You need to change what you're doing to do better, or to change the outcome. And I really like that, because it's just a good way to look at things. This is a Pitbull quote, and probably just a quote of life. Every day above ground is a good day. Y'all remember that. I'm gonna end the video here. That's all the questions that I wrote down. Thank you guys so much for watching. Sorry it was such a ramble, but I had so much fun talking to you. Hopefully you got to know me a bit more. If you have any more questions for me, please let me know in the comments below. If you haven't already, please do subscribe to my channel. If you think anyone would enjoy this video or other videos on my channel, please share them around. It would mean the world to me. I hope you're all keeping very safe and very well, and I will see you next Monday with my next upload. Ka kite!